All right, on the back of those 11 5 notes, unless you really want to, and if you really want to, let me know and I'll go through it with you. But we're going to skip number 7 just because it's another trapezoidal prism and you're given all of the necessary information. You're given all of the values to find your perimeter. The trickiest part might be the fact that you've got these tick marks. But again, as long as you've been paying attention since about chapter 1, you know that that means they're congruent. So if this is 13, you're just going to carry that up and make that 13 and that 13. And then from there, you should be able to find it. So make sure if you're doing your homework, you're going through and making sure you're checking the tick marks in the 90s. Number 8, however, we're going to go ahead and do. Just because it's got one of those Pythagorean theorems, and you know how we feel about that. So it is a triangular prism. Triangular because the triangle is the odd shape out. Yes, you've got 3 rectangles, but that triangle is parallel to that triangle, which makes our base shape a triangle. To find lateral area, you have to do perimeter times the height between the bases. To find the perimeter, you have to be able to do 15 plus 8 plus this slant, which we don't have the slant. That, in this case, is our C value. So we're going to do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Once you solve it, you get 17, which is in my figure already, but you're just going to carry that 17 over. So our P, our perimeter, is 15 plus 8 plus 17. Our height between the bases, so from triangle to triangle, is 21 units. So our lateral area ends up coming out to 840. To find our surface area, you do lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. Our base shape, again, is a triangle. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Base times height have to meet at a 90. So, again, erase. Our 90 is right here. So that's our base, that's our height. So 1/2 base times height, you get a base area of 60. You've got 2 of those. There we go. So you get 960 inches squared for your surface area. These just take a little practice and getting used to all of your different variables. But as long as you remember that when you're dealing with lateral area, the H is the height between the figures. Then when you're dealing with your individual area of the base, you have a completely different height. I know that gets tricky, and if you would like to, you can come back over to, the wind is blowing my papers. Give me a second. Nope, losing it. There we go. If it would make you feel better, you can change this formula, LA equals HP, and make it a capital H, and that way you know there's a difference between the H you use here and the H you might possibly have to use here. Completely up to you, though. All right, moving on. Cylinders are relatively easy. To find the lateral area of a cylinder, and remember, lateral area is the area that's not on the base. So a cylinder, your base are these triangles. So if you're wanting the lateral, you want how far it is around the outside of this circle. So lateral area is 2 pi RH, where H stands for the height of the figure. Surface area is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. This guy right here, you know how our other surface area formulas are 2b? This is the same thing because the area of a circle equals pi R squared. And you've got 2 of them. So this is the same formula that you've been doing. Once you find the lateral, you plug it in and do 2 times the area of the base. Same thing. So number 9. All this one wants is the surface area. It does not in any way, shape, or form ask you for the lateral. So you can find the lateral. That is fine. But for this formula, if you notice, you don't need it. You need radius and height. So make sure you read directions. If you're asked for the lateral area, you have to find it. If you're not asked for it, you can go ahead and kind of skip that step. So number 9. Our radius is 11. Our height is 26, and you plug those values into your equation. That's all you do. You plug it in, you type it into the calculator, and you move on with your day. If you notice, I have mine written backwards. I tend to put my lateral area first, just out of habit, and then I put my 2 times the area of the base in the back. Number 10, same kind of thing, only you're given a diameter instead of a radius. So you have to remember diameter to radius means you divide by 2. So our radius is 7.5. You take that, you plug that in. Our height, remember this is height between bases. So circle to circle is 9. Do not mistake these two. Some of you are going to want to do 15 as the height simply because, top to bottom, that's height. Make sure you're paying attention to your figure and remembering that the height you're talking about is the height between your bases. And you just plug that information in and you get that nice, pretty answer. So 11 and 12 are a little bit different. Those are the working backwards formulas. So if the surface area of the box of cereal below is 272 inches squared, find the length of the box. Well, remember, I told you use each value twice. So you can, what on earth did I do? You can do it this way, or let me hold down my papers with my things of paint. This is number 11. You can come over here and say, all right, my surface area, that 272, equals 2 times, and we did not label length, width, and height, so L is what you're looking for. That's the question mark. We're going to put an X in there. Our width is 2 and our height is 12. So 2 times length times height. So if we do 2 times X times 12, 2 times, if we use our X again, times 2, plus 2 times, do you see how we've used, I'm not even on my problem, I'm sorry guys. Do you see how we've used the X twice and we've only used the 12 and the 2 once? Go ahead and use those here. So that gives you 272 equals 24x plus 4x plus 48. Combine your like terms. That gives you 272 equals 28x plus 48. Subtract your 48 from both sides. You get 224 equals 28x. Divide by 28. You get x equals 8. And again, that was the length. So your length of this particular problem is 8 inches. It's a working backwards, which sometimes is kind of difficult, but I think if you go over here and you label what you have versus what you're looking for, it will help. Number 12, same thing. You're given the surface area. You're also given the diameter. We hardly ever want the diameter. Diameter is 3, which means radius is half of that at 1.5. So you take that, you plug it in everywhere that you need it. To simplify, if you notice, I have minus an oval, just because if you subtract it in the calculator rather than writing it out, you are not rounding as much. So you end up getting 37.7 equals 3 pi h. What operation is going on in between the 3, the pi, and the h? Multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So you divide by 3 pi on both sides. That cancels them over here. And if you type this into the calculator, you have to do 37 points. Oh, we're gonna rewrite that because that's hideous. You're gonna bring it over here. Again, typing it into the calculator in one step means writing it or typing it like this. You have to put parentheses around that 3 pi. Otherwise, that order of operation gets you. It divides by 3 and then multiplies by pi. So make sure if you're doing it, you're putting it in parentheses, or you're using that alpha y equals 1 and bringing up your fraction bar. Either way. But once you get down, you get 4. If you end up getting like 3.99987 ... you know you're going to round to 4. Or if you get 4.000000123, round it to 4. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know, guys.